Hi, this is Rahul Rela. I hope you liked my last video about basic set lighting. In this video we'll do character lighting and also learn about how to use IBL and other efficient stuff which we have in MinterArray that can enhance and help our image to look good. So let's start it now. So right now you can see an output which I have already put on the blog so that you can see what we are going to do now. Now I have enough idea. So now we are going to start lighting. Okay, so for the test now, that I first, before using the IBL, I want to make sure that we have enough knowledge about IBL, that what is it exactly. Okay, so it's actually a MinterArray stuff, so we have to switch on the MinterArray. Okay, now in MinterArray tab, in indirect lighting, we have this tab called IBL. Okay, it's taking time. Okay, this is, when you click on this button, then you suddenly see this highlighted kind of a sphere. So this is where we start putting this IBL. IBL is basically a 3D rendering technique which involves the capturing of omnidirectional representation of real world lighting. It allows us highly detailed real world lighting to be used in a scene, and when you need to do it very accurately, or like you need the exact results from your IBL as you need, for that purpose you can go for HDRI images. HDRI basically means high dynamic range images that can be used for greater realism, and it is not only available in Maya MinterArray, it is actually available in all the modern software, so there's no need to be worried about that which software to be used, that you have to use only Maya for that. You can use any other software because right nowadays it's available everywhere. So if we put in some simple texture in it, we'll go in mapping and let it be spherical, because spherical is our environment is also. So when you go and say type textures, this tab gets enabled, otherwise this tab gets enabled. If you can plug in any images, that will allow, because all the images have some kind of lighting information in it. So you can use any image file which you want to use, or put up your own textures, anything you want to use. So let's say I want to use the sky color here, and I'm gonna switch on my Final Gather, which is quite very necessary to take the lights. Final Gather is actually takes the information from the environment and try to put on the object. Before we do that, we'll go in our common tab, and I would like to switch off that default light so that default light of Maya doesn't affect my renders. So if I take one render here, so you will see we couldn't see anything because it's casting the same amount of light from all the directions. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one light and just gonna set it so that it doesn't feel like that we have only only the sky, which is right now it's our sphere, this IBL which is casting the light. So I want to use the directional light with shadows so we can see what exactly is IBL is actually doing, because until unless we'll not notice it. Okay, so you can see our render here. Let me go and zoom it. And if you don't want to see this environment in your render, so you can go in this render tab and say visible. You can switch off the visibility here and you will see no more it in your render tab. So now you can see the white light is affecting this area and blue is here now. So if you change the color of your direction light, you will have a better idea what actually is happening there. Let me take one render fast. Okay, now you can see your key light very well, what exactly it is doing. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch off visible as environment and visible in final gather, so that it doesn't cast. I do not want IBL to cast any kind of lighting, so you can see exact difference between both of the renders. What it is doing, it is actually casting the light, but also taking the color information from the IBL and putting it over one over object, and it giving us very nice feel. So I'm gonna switch it on visible as final gather and see how much it is affecting. Now you can see it now. So at whatever point of time, if you want that you do not want so much light to be cast by the IBL, you can just come to this tab and reduce it by whatever percentage you want, and you will see that it stopped casting too much of light. Now you can see the difference. You still have the final gather which is affecting here, and still can see the cast light, and you should have noticed that it is like now reducing the light. Okay, so this is just to show you that what technique we are going to use to let our scene now. So I don't want to switch it on, and I want to close it now. So now let's get back to our scene and see what we are going to do. So we have this scene already. Right now I don't have any light in our scene. It's full empty. It's just our character here. So I don't want anything. I don't want to see anything. I just want to see my lights and polygon mesh. Okay. Okay. So we have this. So let's say 5. So use default material, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one IBL and switch on the final gather and go in my comment tab, and yeah, it's already disabled. So now I'm gonna take 150% render. In the type I want to use a texture, and in texture you can plug anything, whatever map you want. You can plug in any noise map or whatever map you think you can use efficiently, you can plug in that. I don't want that color. I want to use little bluish kind of color, like 0.82. It's already here, so I would like to use that. And in here, yeah, of course, that would do. And okay, so this is the color that I want to use for my character, and I'm gonna take a fast render here now. Which cam? It's a cam 2, and see what is exactly is IBL is doing in our scene. So it's gonna render now. So you can now have an idea that the color that we are using, it's filling it all over the place on our character, and now you can see that color behind your behind the character also as an environment, which we don't want to use. So what we are going to do, select the IBL, and I don't want it to switch off its permissibility. I want to switch off the permissibility. And what you can notice is it's just not casting the light, but it is casting the shadows. So you can see wherever the two objects, or wherever the two are contacting, two objects are contacting each other, it's casting the shadows also. So it gives us a nice ambient occlusion. So when you're doing the image based lighting, and calculating the final gather, we do not have mandatorily use the ambient occlusion to give nice contact, which we get through this IBL very easily. So now you can see that we can no more see the IBL behind. We can no more see the IBL behind this image. And I'm gonna tell you one more important stuff about final gather. So what you can do is, when you took one render with FG, so what happens, it automatically creates one map, the F which tab, you can see it over here, the final gathering map. So what happens when you create one map, when you first time hit the render, it automatically generates one map and save it in a mental rate data library as an FG map. So what you can do, you do not have to like rebuild this map again and again, which takes a lot of time to calculate FG. So when you're doing your lighting and you took first pass of your FG, you can go to this rebuild tab and say it freeze. What it does is, it does not calculate the FG anymore and gives you the same result as your FG. It saves a huge render time. So we'll see that how much time it is actually saving. So this render took 39 seconds when we were calculating FG, and this render took 24 seconds. We have freezed our FG. So I'm gonna switch it on and take from the actual camera of the scene one render, and then I'm gonna freeze it so that we can start our manual lighting, and we do not have to like recalculating the FG again and again for every test render that we're gonna do. So it basically saves a lot of render time. So I'm gonna freeze it now and lock it, that I don't want to use it anymore, and I'm locking it so that I accidentally also do not switch on this thing. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna start by putting one rim light on the character from the behind. Okay, I'm gonna press F to directly go to the character. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, okay, let's say lighting, use selected. I don't want to use so much. So let's say 0.350, and I'm gonna switch on the shadows. Let's keep this render and let's hit one render. Okay, one mistake, that I haven't give it any penumbra, so that might end up in giving the harsh result, which I don't want. So now we have softened our penumbra here, so we will get a smoother result. So now as our FG is like already freezed, so it will not calculate any render time at any point of time now. So we have this nice rim light which is actually separating it from the background. So it is a little too high. I'm gonna reduce it a little so that it gives us very minute effect on the face and gives us a nice rim on the jacket, which is letting us know its material. When you're doing a character lighting, every part of it is very important to show what the character is wearing, how it should look, and how you have to make the difference between the material. So it is very important when you're doing a character lighting. I need to use little more light on his pants a little. I want a little more light to come in. Okay. I'm gonna do one more render because I'm not happy right now. So layer render. So now we can see a little more detail on his face, these expressions and everything, and yeah, we have enough lighting on the pants which is separating it from the background, which was merging a little. So this is our like one light we done, and now the other we're gonna do. I'm gonna take one light and put it as a key light from the right side of the character, like this. Yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna give it a little gradient to that too. So I'm gonna use little orange light. Yeah. Not that orange. I don't want. Let's reduce little saturation here because I think it is too much. Let's render it now. We do not have to like render the FG for this as we have put the key light, but of course, because right now we are just doing a test render, so I'm not gonna calculate FG. Once we are done with the our positioning of the lights and everything, then we'll do like then we are actually going to do that. Right now you can see the nice combination of the blue and the orange light, which is giving us nice feel and nice detail of the objects and the part of the body now. So right now it is casting little too sharp shadows, so I'm gonna make it a little more. I'm gonna make it a little soft so that it does feel like kind of an evening, because in the evening we have blue sky all over the place, and when sun is actually until reaching to the horizon, it gives us more orangish light. So that combination is actually looks pretty amazing wherever you use it. It looks nice. So we don't have to be like worrying about anything when you're using such combination, because it gives us really nice effect of lighting. So you can see our character is already almost done by just using one IBL as a fill and one rim and a character key light, which is actually separating it from like almost everywhere. I want to use little more diagonal kind of stuff so that I can keep little light on his tummy too. So by using this very easy and simple method, you can actually make your character look very nice, and you can give very good detail to your character by just doing some simple steps of mental ray, and it gives you very wonderful effects. And however and whatever kind of lighting you want to give it, you can actually get it in no point. And now what I'm gonna do is, like, we have his pants here, we have nice blue light casting on the chest area and the face, hands, on tummy, but we are losing a little light color here because of his shape, because it's casting little shadows here. So when you're doing a single frame or a poster kind of lighting, you can actually do the cheating and very easily can get that all the details which you are looking for. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one light and reduce its intensity to 0.6, and yeah, I'm gonna make it 50, gonna make it 20, but minus 20. I always use negative penumbra because what happens when you use a positive penumbra, it does not accurately calculate the penumbra angle. What it is actually, it spills outside your penumbra angle. But when you use negative penumbra, it stopped at a cone angle, and when you use negative penumbra, it's not going outside, it's actually interacting and contracting towards inside. So what it does, the light stopped at a penumbra angle and it starts fading in towards the inside, not the outside. So what it does, it is accurately calculating your the light, the penumbra angle of it. So I need very soft shadows for this because I don't want to end up getting double shadows on the pants. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch off its illuminate by default and select the pants and select the bar build and every part of it, and go in lighting. I'm gonna say make light link. Illuminate by default, what it does, actually it breaks the connection of your light with all the geometries, and this make light link help us to connect the light with the object which we want. So if you go in the lighting and shading tab and select the objects, select objects illuminated by light, so what it shows, only those objects which light, it actually shows only those objects which is getting any kind of illumination by the light you actually have given that attribute. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a fast render by saving this render and see how exactly it is shaping up now. So is it creating, by putting an extra light, is it creating any difference in our character, or it is just same like that? So let's see what difference it creates. So now you can see more volume in the pants, more color variation and everything, but I think this intensity is a little too high, so I'm going to reduce its intensity by 0.5 so that it does not disturb us from getting away from the subject, which is here. I'm like which is the contact of the character. So what I'm gonna do is, now I'm gonna do a final render for us and see that how actually the calculated character is looking. Now I'm gonna switch on the rebuild material and increasing my samples and switching on the jitter, which help us to get the edges fine without any anti-aliasing problem. So I'm gonna hit one, render fast, and see what is the result that we are getting now. Okay, I think I have chosen the wrong camera. Cam 2 is the right cam. Sorry for that. So today what I actually explained to you is all about the IBL. So if I tell you again that IBL is actually help us to lit the scene overall, and then you can start putting on your light and see where all you need the variation in the light. IBL is basically, as I have told, is a image based lighting. Any kind of image, it doesn't matter whatever image it is, it has the light information in it, and whenever you plug in any image in the mental ray IBL as a texture or whatever image, then it will start casting the light with the shadows. That's the most important part of it, that it actually casts the light with the shadows. So you do not have to necessarily need occlusions to fill up those contact areas and all that stuff. It automatically calculates that contact areas and gives shadows there, because it is calculating light from all over the scene. It is calculating light through the environment actually. And when you actually need a very accurate information from an image, then you need to have HDRI, which is actually called high dynamic range images. It actually called high dynamic range image because it has all the information of the source light and the shadows, what kind of shadow it has, what kind of environment is there while you're clicking an HDR image. You can actually create your own HDR image by clicking a image on a Chrome or something, and go into your HDRI shop and create your own HDR image. That I'm going to tell you in later stages when we go up to that stage. So with this, for today we are done here. Our character is rendering, and now you have very much knowledge about IBL and very simple basics, not basic but very simple character lighting, and which can make your character looks very cool. I mean, by doing small things, you can make your character look beautiful now. So I think I actually think that you would like this tutorial and would like to see more of it when I'm doing it more. And I hope you enjoy my tutorial, and thank you for the patience for seeing this tutorial. I hope your time would not be wasted when you see this tutorial. Okay, so now you can see when it calculates the FG, so it takes higher time to render an image, and when you freeze it, it almost takes 40-45% less time. So once you're done with your FG, just freeze it and you can render your image by just freezing it, and it will save you 40-45% render time. But it is for single frame. When you're doing a sequence render and your camera and the objects are still, you do not have to necessarily take all the I mean, you do not have to do a sequence render FG map and then save it. You can just save one single image and you'll be done. Otherwise, when you have your camera moving, then you can actually see that how much your camera is actually moving, and you can make one FG for that and save it as your map, and you can do it. So now we have this character. Now what I'm going to do is, I am not liking this area because it doesn't have any highlights in it, so I want to put one highlight here. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm done with my FG, I'm going to freeze it. I don't want to use it. I don't want to calculate my FG again and again. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take one more key light, one more spotlight, and going to do one small thing, that I'm gonna put some light on his head. Yeah, and I'm gonna say -20, and gonna use drop off by 10. I'm gonna use little more saturation. I don't want it to cast any double shadow, so I'm gonna use higher ray trace values, and 0.6 I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna switch off as illuminate by default. Yeah, I wanna put it in a display layer. I'm gonna select the light now. Select the object, select the light, go to the different layer, select this, and gonna say make light link. When you select this and say select the object illuminated by this, it is only the hat. So whatever illumination I'm gonna get it on the hat only. No other part of the Phoenix is gonna be receiving any kind of illumination by that light. So you will see it's also rendering fast because we are not calculating any FG, and you can add more light into the scene after you calculating the FG if it is not affecting too much if it is not actually affecting too much your object, like where you do not necessarily need to calculate the FG. You can use it there very efficiently. And Maya is very cool about IBL rendering because it is quite accurate. Now we'll see the difference, what exactly it does, or it did to a hat, a Phoenix. Okay, so you can see this now, the difference between before the colors and our hat was in quite a bit shadows because of the angle of the key light. Now you can see it is only affecting our hat area and giving us a nice warm feel. So I'm done for this tutorial. I hope you have enjoyed this, and thank you for your patience. Thank you very much. I hope you would like to see more.